peace everyone, and thank you for coming back. By the even, and the odd. The binary numbers. 0 and 1. As you know, we have now, the irrefutable, scientifically proven Arabic Quran, supported by mathematics, the exact science. And it only promotes the religion of Nation of Ibrahim, total submission to the laws of our Creator. The only religion accepted by the Almighty, Allah. Allah informed us about education within just first few surahs revealed in the Arabic Quran, that we should learn how to read and write by pen. And He wants us to learn how to count and calculate. And you would find different groups of numbers repeated in the Arabic Quran. And the Almighty, Allah blessed us with creating the sun and the moon. This also establishes for us a timing system, and the means of calculation. Also, Allah wants us to travel on land, in order to research, and find out about our creation. That means, all we have to do is teach our children how to read, write, and count. Allah also says, that, even if your female servants wanted to learn reading and writing, teach them, when you recognize any good in them. As the Arabic Quran says, we come to this world without any knowledge. And the learning process starts from infancy, until we get to the old ages, which we are not able to learn anymore. Now, remember, learning and education is by choice, not by force. Yet, starting about 200 years ago, they forced us to go to school. And if you don't, you would get a citation ticket. Although we call ourselves a democratic nation, this is one of the agenda of today's governments. Our children spend 8 hours of their precious time at the school daily, starting from the very early ages of 2 or 3 years, with some strangers and a teacher who grow up by TV. And when our children come home, TV is their teacher again. Therefore, they could hardly receive any educations from their parents, and if they do get education from their parents, they would get very confused, comparing with what they have learned from TV, and their classmates, and their school teacher. So this, one-eye, teacher, meaning TV, has been paralyzing us with sex, intoxicants, and bunch of lies. Therefore, you do not have the freedom to train and educate your children the way you desire. Because TV does not let you. As you know, you are not allowed to talk about our Creator at schools and on TV programs. That is why they always say, Mother Nature, when we have rain, flood, tornadoes, and earthquakes. Instead, we should have a law that no TV programs should talk about anything related to educations of our children. And then, people who control the TV land keep telling us that you should be educated and get your degrees in masters and PhDs in order to get a good job, so you could be happy. And so many other conjectures. You might go into any school in USA and ask them, do you know who created you? Or, who is the one who provides for you and all the creatures in the world? Or, what is going on overseas? Or ask them some math questions, or geography. You would be surprised with their silences. But, ask them, who is the top rap singer? Who is having a concert this week? Or, who was the American Idol last season? Or, what kind of pot is the best intoxicant? And they have so much knowledge about sex, and how to fall in this new fashion of homosexuality, which became a part of our constitution. Then, our children at the schools have to deal with so many brat kids. And kids who bully them. Right now, 6 out of 10 American youths witness bullying once a day. Why? Because our forced education system is wrong, and it is backfiring. That is why our children go through so many different psychological problems at schools, which they are going to have negative effect on them, and they have to deal with it for the rest of their life. And that is how today's children learned to be disrespectful toward their parents. Because They hardly see their parents during the day. After puberty, we start our teenage years, which is the most difficult times of our life, for our children, and their parents. Teenagers could easily get agitated by the environment around them. And then we graduate from high school. Listen to this. After 12 years of going to school, our children must work at McDonald's, or Pizza Hut, and other low-paying jobs, although they have wasted 12 years of their life studying. Why? Because they did not learn anything useful. We humans are so ignorant. That is why Allah says, humans are so stupid, ignorant, and arrogant. Please think about it. How can algebra, physics, and chemistry be any help to any teenager? That is why this system of forced education is backfiring on those ignorant decision makers. And then, even the ones who constantly studied 19 years of their life, when they come out of universities, they realize that they are not able to get their desired job. Why? Because the education system forced them to follow. And those who have been graduated, in the majority of countries in the world, after 19 years, they would find out that there is no job waiting for them. This is the consequence of stepping in a wrong path. Show me only one company in the whole world that when you start your first day at work, you knew exactly what to do, because of your education. Yet, when you start a job, in any place in the world, first, they train you for a while. No matter how many years of education you had. And we call it experience. Therefore, without experience, you are useless. Don't you remember your first job training? The only people who could get a job are those who had experienced with some kind of instruments and tools. Like the ones who learned musical instruments, like piano, or carpentering, auto mechanics, welding, tailoring, or building furnitures, or as specialists in some computer software programs, and so on. Therefore, the only thing matters is experience. Not just reading books, which you forget after some times anyway. As you know, the most crooked people, and crooked politicians, criminals, cheaters, liars, thieves, and corruptors in the land, are among the most highly educated ones. That is so shocking news. Isn't it? And we are all watching them almost every day, that they have been exposed on news. Yet, they call it white-collar criminals. Because they do not want to label it as highly educated criminals. Just like Kentucky Fried Chicken changed its name to KFC. The level of educations in our schools are so low that even teachers end up in jails because they were giving the answers to their own students' test. This is another backfire. Yet, they keep brainwashing us through TV, saying, "Get educated." That is the same TV which made us smoke cigarettes so we could die of lung cancer. And that was how they taught us drink alcohol and use other intoxicants, in order to have so many mental and physical problems, so we could die. TV taught us how to become an adulterer and adulteress. Made our women nude. Taught our children how to kill, cheat, and become homosexuals, so they could get AIDS, and die. And so many other crimes. The crimes that this one Shaitan, has committed, is far greater than all the criminals committed in the history of mankind, combined. Now, why did they force us to go to school? Because, few years back, some smart aleck in US government said, "Let us put women to work," against the rules of all the nations in the world, through the history of mankind. Why? Because we were losing the war. Then all the problems started, from that point on. To the point that right now, they send the mother of our children go to war, in order to get raped, and get killed. Then, they said, what can we do with their children now? Okay. That is easy, let us build schools and high schools and universities in order to make them busy. That was how Shaitan wiped out our belief system, and completely wiped out the Almighty Creator from our brains. The one who created us from ejected semen. Because we used to learn about our Creator from our parents. But now we learn through TV and media. That is how they turned us to a godless nation. And the ones who think that they are religious people, they are worshipping those saints and prophets instead of the Almighty Creator, and following from the only religion of our Creator, the nation of Abraham. Anyhow, our parents work so hard during the day, and when they come home, they just become a couch potato themselves, to the point that they are not able to teach their children anything. That is how authorities could teach our children, in order to control people by media, and paralyze them so they would not be able to think anymore. Here are other problems. Do you know why our children do not respect their parents? Do you know why we do not have any family unity in this country? The reason is that our children spend about 8 hours of their precious time outside of our homes every day, starting as early as 2 or 3 years old. Therefore, they learn through the years that they should be with some strangers, instead of being with their parents, brothers and sisters, grandmother, grandpa, cousins, second cousins, aunts, and uncles. That is why most of them do not even know their whole family, so if some of them needed help, they could help them. That is why there are 3.5 million of our relatives are homeless, hungry, and sleeping in the streets, right at this moment. Yet, we think we do not know them. As you see, this forced education system messed us all up. Also, it is not mentioned in the Arabic Quran that you must pay in order to become educated. Which is another problem with these high-pay school tuitions and loans, which we are not able to pay it back. That was how we created so many jobs for ourselves. Only on the basis of scheming and stupidity, and we are so proud of it. And we have been trying so hard to promote our wrongdoings to other countries around the world, so they can fall into the same ditch which we are in. And we call it democracy. Are you kidding? Now, pay attention please. We are not saying that knowledge and education is bad. Yet, Allah wants you to get educated all your lifetime, before you get to the old ages. Allah is the only source of knowledge. He is the one who teaches and gives knowledge and talent to whomever he wishes. Like Archimedes, Pythagoras, Galileo Galilei, Abu Nasr al-Farabi, Aristotle, Charles Darwin, Euclid, Isaac Newton, James Watt, Johannes Kepler, Leonardo da Vinci, Omar Khayyam, Ludwig van Beethoven, and all the other classical musicians, just to name a few. And none of these people went to university. And Allah was their only teacher. Now, here are some of our school dropouts. Thomas Edison, Benjamin Franklin, Bill Gates, Albert Einstein, John D. Rockefeller, Walt Disney, Richard Branson, Colonel Sanders, Charles Dickens, and Princess Diana, and so many others. As Pink Floyd said, we don't need education. Teacher, leave them kids alone. These were some of the people who, guided by the Almighty Allah, that our system of education is wrong. So, the sooner you stop sending your children to school, the sooner they would find out what they want to do with their life. You hear people saying, I always wanted to do that, when they finally get to their desired job, at their older ages. Why? Because forced education system messed up most of their precious life, and they became the slaves of this forced education scheme, which they could not get out of it. When you teach your children the basic educations, then let them find what they really want in their life. Do not force education on them. This is another crime of humanity. Thank Allah for His unending knowledge and hikmat. Until the next tape, peace.